guys, it's Kaki. One of the most frequently asked questions that I get from my viewers is questions about maintenance. So today I would like to talk to you about something that I did a few weeks ago to try to help me in my maintenance journey because losing the weight, as most of us know, is just the beginning. Once you're to where you want to be, you have to work on staying there. So let's talk about it. Back in December, I decided to do what is called RMR testing, which stands for resting metabolic rate. What this testing does, it is a test which I'll talk about, but the purpose of this test is to tell you exactly, as close as possible, how many calories that you need in one day, how many calories you burn just at rest, just by breathing, just by your organs working, just by your brain thinking before you do any movement. This test will tell you how much caloric intake you need to maintain just the basic activities of life. There are online calculators that are called BMR calculators that can kind of give you an idea of that. But studies have found that those BMR calculators can be off hundreds of calories a day because they're a guesstimate. They're not an accurate method to tell you exactly what you need. RMR testing is an actual medical test that you go to a testing facility and there is preparation for it. The facility that I used wanted you to fast completely for 12 hours prior to the test, drink nothing but water the morning of the test. You were instructed not to exercise for about 16 hours prior to the test. They did not want you doing anything strenuous or anything stressful that morning. So they encouraged me to schedule my appointment where I wouldn't be in rush hour traffic, where I wouldn't be rushing to get there because that does things like get your adrenaline and your stress hormones up, which can alter the test. When you actually have the test done, you are laying, and I'm going to insert a picture here of what that test looks like. You are laying in basically a reclined position with a mask over your mouth. You lay there for about 15 to 20 minutes. You're instructed to rest. They don't want you to sleep. They also don't want you to listen to a podcast or music that may get your adrenaline going. They just want you as blank as possible to rest. While you are undergoing the test, the machine measures your oxygen expenditure. It measures how much oxygen you're taking in and your carbon dioxide measures. This is what we call indirect calorimetry method. This will tell exactly as close as possible with a 1 to 2% margin of error what you're burning in a day. At the end of the test, you are given a printout and the person in the testing facility goes over it with you. Looking at that, you have a really good idea of what I should eat just to maintain my basic bodily functions and then go from there. The recommendation for most from most healthcare providers, from most testing facilities is if you measure your exercise, which a lot of us do in fitness trackers, things like that, if it says that you burn 100 calories, you can add back in 75% of that to what you eat, basically. Of course, that's if you want to maintain. If you're wanting to lose weight, this is a great tool as well because it also can tell you kind of what you need to get your calories below to be in a deficit. As we all know, it's a bigger thing than calories in and calories out. If it was a simple equation, none of us would need bariatric surgery. But this measurement is a great tool for you to see what you need to get in. I was actually very surprised at what mine showed. So I'm going to pull it up here so you can see, and let me just go over it. So as you can see here, it says that you tell them it's individualized towards you, towards your age, your height, your weight. This tells me that my metabolic rate, my resting metabolic rate is 1,528 calories a day. That is what I need to stay alive, basically. Of course, if I drop below this, I'm not going to die, but this, I'll just be in a calorie deficit. This tells me that my BMI, of course, which is an easy classification, is 27.88. Tells me that my metabolic rate is a little faster than others with my same height and weight. It also tells me a little bit about suggestions. To maintain my weight, it suggests 1,800 calories a day because that 1,528 is just me laying in a bed and not moving. Getting up, going to work, you'll tell them also what kind of job you do so they can calculate that in. Just getting up and going to work and walking out to my car, showering, just those basic activities of daily life adds back in some. So to maintain, it suggests 1,800 calories a day. That's before any type of planned movement. And as it says, add 75% of measured exercise calories back into your daily calorie goal. So after I did that, I actually added calories into what I eat. That told me possibly my body was not getting everything that I needed. So I went in and I made it a goal to eat a little bit more. And guess what? I lost a little bit of weight. I think that that really helped me to settle into where I want to be. I am now about 3.5 years post-op gastric bypass. I allow myself that 5-pound weight range, and I am happily in it. I really suggest you look at BMR testing if that's something that you want to explore, not just to maintain, but to see what you actually need to lose as well. It's very easy to find places that do RMR testing. Google it. I found my nearest metropolitan area is Nashville. There were 3 facilities that did testing there. Average cost about $100. So it's not cheap, but it's not insurmountable either. And it gives you some really good information. I would love to hear, have any of you actually had your RMR tested? What was your experience like? Were you surprised at the results? Is that something you think you might want to do in the future? I would also love to hear, what would you like to hear me talk about? I want to give you information that is useful to you. I would love to hear where you're at in your journey. Is there anything you're struggling with? Guys, I hope everybody has a great week, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.